What's up, everybody, and welcome to my AEW Dynamite review. As a dark cloud looms over the city of Chicago today, and going into that, well, it wasn't a total loss. There is still a way to win, but that'll be discussed at another time and everything. But yes, what were they tonight, huh? Albany, New York. Um, they were there for Albany. We had Taz, Shivani, and Excalibur, and William Regal on commentary. It's like, is JR just on Rampage now? Are we still doing the rotating announcers? Or are we just keeping Jim Ross on Rampage right now? Like, what's going on with that? We kicked it off with Sammy Guevara and John Moxley in this tournament, the semifinals. No Tay Conti out there. Basically, Sammy wanted to do this on his own. This was a good match, I will say. I know it ended up with Conti and Anna Jay coming out there trying to kick Moxley in the nuts and whatnot. Um, in the nuts, and Guevara had ended up hitting his finisher trying to get the win, but it did not work. Guevara tried to get his GTH on him, but Moxley ended up hitting the Death Rider in, getting the win. No surprise who really won right here. Like, come on, I already knew Moxley was going to win this a mile away. It's a good match, though. Nothing wrong with it, but, come on, it was kind of easy to, right, it was kind of easy to tell who was going to win this match. So we got to kind of know who was going to be going to the finals in this thing at the same time also. Right after that, MJF came out, told them to cut the music off. He's like shouting out there, talking about, Moxley, and talking about Moxley hasn't, slept in a week due to what happened last week and whatnot. Basically, he said Moxley, he looks like a man that had no fear, and that pisses him off. And he's just talking about the crowd, calling them poor. They're all filthy white trash. And you're just from Cincinnati. You're from the sticks and whatnot. Moxley talked about, we talked about Moxley telling that, it took a lot to build great character, and that these morons cheer for you every week and whatnot. But MJF basically went on saying, I'm not the same scared little boy. I'm not doing the campaign thing or a podium from a couple of years ago, the last time we faced. This is different, okay? And I know you're just a scared little boy from the slums of Cincinnati, Ohio, and you're old enough to drown in your old childhood of alcohol. Basically talking about him when he went to rehab, and calling him a drunk and all this stuff and everything. All that stuff applies to Danielson and Jericho also, that no one's going to get in his way for the title. But, you talk about Moxley, took a lot to go to rehab, and, talk about that demon with the cloud over you, but I am that demon now, okay? And they should have left you in the slums of Cincinnati, so you better be careful. And, this demon cannot be easily slain. But then he talked about Stokely Hathaway, which is now his new best friend, and he introduced the firm now. And this guy came out. I feel like he was about to sound like a preacher, Pastor Hathaway out here as he's talking, and he's talking about why we're here. I'm not a manager, I'm not a publicist, I'm not an assistant and all that. We're not MGF support system, but I'm a friend, okay? And blackmails what wakes him up in the morning and everything. And basically, he talked about everybody that's there and what they do. Talk about Morrissey. He wants respect and everything, and he gave him a hug. I said, like, I'll give you a hug. Hug me back. Tell him I love you and whatnot. I don't know if that was a rib on Tony Khan because of the hugging thing, because it probably was, because we see Tony Khan do that hugging thing all the time. And basically, he went through everyone, talk about how Lee Moriarty wants the ROH Pure Championship, and that the Guns wants the tag team titles, and you know, Ethan Page, talk about we've been best friends and bitter enemies for 10 years. He wants that All Atlantic belt. So a good mission statement, I will say that. The promo mostly was just shouting by MJF. My friend Stephen had pointed this out, that um basically, he's talking about Moxie and all. This is almost kind of like a foregone conclusion, basically saying that, Moxley's gonna win. Especially when he's talking about him being a drunk and on the whole alcohol thing and rehab and stuff. The firm, and by the way, the firm, this whole thing with Hathaway, it may work. They got a decent crew of people. Then again, everybody in this company has a faction in general, so this may work. So we'll see, but um jury's out on it. But they got some decent people in there, I will say that. I don't know which one's going for the world title, or unless I know they have more, or they can have Morrissey go after Wardlow, since they did face each other before. Um in the past. It could be for the TNT belt at some point. And next, Jay Lethal and Jungle Boy. Man, so Jay Lethal just jobbed out to Jungle Boy, a not even 100% Jungle Boy, who was just killed at All Out about a week and a half ago, and still not 100%, and he beat Jay Lethal clean. And listen, Jay Lethal has been taking L's a lot, man. Like Jay Lethal has just been. I feel like they've wasted him for a while now, but now it's like this guy's just taking L's like a lot of times now. But even I'm sitting there wondering, should they really have Jungle Boy be going over him clean, literally? I don't know. I'm like Jay Lethal just lost to not even 100% Jungle Boy. Like even it could have been like a screwy finish or something, but I'm like, damn, he beat him clean. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing with Jay Lethal? I really wonder that sometime. Like, I go back to the All Out review, what they did to him there, and 6-man tag, and how they could have done something better from that, but nah, they doing all this other stuff. Uh, right after that, then I know they talk about Action Bronson and Hook. They're gonna be facing 2.0 at a Grand Slam. I don't know who Luigi Primo is. Talking about a pizza wrestler. He literally just talked about pizza and Ethan Page killed him and talking about, now let's talk to somebody who takes their job seriously around here. And then Danhausen walked in, and then I guess it's going to be a match on Rampage with both of them. Darby Allin's still doing jackass stuff in Nitro Circus, so there you go. Matt Hardy challenged him to a match. Matt did at least say his brother. We couldn't say, I don't think he said Jeff all the way, but at least he kind of mentioned him. Matt Hardy, I have no idea what they. Well, then I saw Matt Hardy at Dark last week, but then I don't know what Matt Hardy's really doing in general nowadays since Jeff has been out. Powerhouse Hobbs killed some job guy out there. Hobbs won. Hobbs talked about Starks then, and only took him 4 minutes and 35 seconds. I'm like, man, that match was short. And he talked about this chapter is closed, and now it's going to be a new chapter in the Book of Hobbs. Starks came out there, basically ran in, attacked Hobbs, and hit him with the microphone. So I guess this feud is not over with. I kind of thought it was over, but nah, I guess it's going to continue now. Lucha Brothers went against Swerve and Our Glory for the tag team titles. Good match. I already knew Swerve and Our Glory was going to be going over anyways, given that they're facing the Acclaim next week. The Acclaim did come out there, though. Basically said, they're going to get the titles next week and everything, and, we're going to take them from you. And they did the whole Scissor Me Daddy. So the Acclaim is super over, so I think they may win the tag team titles there this time. Toni Storm and Athena went against Serena Deeb and Britt Baker. Pretty good match other than the finish with the chair, which I tell the referee just distract. We see it a lot in these things, but Baker just holding the chair there so Deeb can throw Toni Storm's head into it, and ref's dealing with Athena. He just turns around and does the pin, and Deeb and Baker won. Right after that, everybody started brawling. Then Jamie Hayter came out there and grabbed the chair and ended up hitting Toni Storm. Then after that, and just walked off as Baker tried to apologize. So now it's a fatal 4-way next week between Athena, Baker, Deeb, and Storm for that AEW Women's Championship. Oh, I'm sorry, Interim Women's Championship. I guess I better say that. And whatnot. So we'll see where that goes. But not Toni Storm, but Jamie Hayter. Sooner or later, she's going to turn on Baker. So we'll see what happens there. But in the main event, it was Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho. Very good match. I enjoyed the match back at All Out. It went about almost 20 minutes out there. I figured Jericho was going to get the win anyways. I know he focused on Danielson's leg a lot throughout the entire match. I didn't want to say Jericho get the win. I mean, Danielson was going to get the win, given that he lost to Jericho at All Out. So I kind of saw that coming already. Someone I would think Danielson's booking has not been good in AEW, worse than WWE. I know some people have said that. Got a point there in a way, because even Danielson, what I would say is when Danielson was a heel on there, Danielson felt on top of the world, especially when he first got here. But now I feel like he's just kind of taking a back seat in a way. Takes a lot of L's too, or whatnot. So I'm glad he got the win here over Jericho. Him and Moxie had a stare down in after that and shook hands. So battle of the Blackpool Combat Club next week. In the whole tournament finals and stuff, and that's going to be in the main event for the title. So we'll see what happens there. But a very good main event though between Jericho and Danielson. Like I said, very great technical match. I enjoyed it back it all out, and I enjoyed it again here. So really good match. Was it as better as their one at the pay-per-view? That's debatable and whatnot. We're given the time length of that show at the time too, but it's debatable on that whole thing. But I'm sure something's gonna happen next week, or MJF gets involved one way or another. So we'll see what happens with that. Other than that, that's my AEW Dynamite review. Comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Hood990. I'm out of here. Peace.